Yes, I'm live again. Sorry about the the mishap. Well, what happened was it's hot as hell where I'm at, and my phone, I iPhone said your phone is overheated. I know it was because we was about to get heated, and we know these people got all kind of buttons and bing, 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 bing. You know what I'm saying? That they cut this shit off. You know what I'm saying? They know this shit was about to get hot. For those of you who may have missed what I said, I'm going to try to start all over. This is extemporaneous. This is off the top of my head, you know, based on my knowledge and my wisdom and my understanding of the laws and of the different things that's going on. Like I said yesterday, I spoke about pimps up and hoes down in American Pimp being responsible for a lot of young African American males going to prison. And I talk about it in this book right here, The Art of Human Chess, which is my book. And you can get the book on iTunes. Just go on iTunes and type in Pimpin Ken if you don't believe what I'm saying. You can just go to iTunes, type in Pimpin Ken. You can get the book and you can read it for yourself, and you can get it on your phone right now. Because a lot of people are going to be like, well, he didn't denounce pimping in his book. He's supposed to be this big time pimp. You know, a lot of people say, well, why you denounce pimping? Didn't you get paid? Of course I got paid for being in the movie. You think I'm a damn fool? I'm not going to do nothing, you know, and not get paid. But did I knew that it was going to cause destruction in our community? That I knew that a lot of young men were going to be inspired to pimp? Did I know that a lot of young men were going to be influenced by my words and by the words that were in this documentary or those documentaries? No, because if I would have knew, I would have told them, fuck that documentary. I don't want to see no one go to prison. I love my brothers. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I love young African American males. I have two of them. You know what I'm saying? I have two sons. I love my brothers. You know what I'm saying? I love everyone. I even love my white brothers. I love my yellow brothers, my Asian brothers. I don't want to see no one go to prison. I did 10 years in prison. I don't wish prison on no one. That's why I'm doing this live, so you know it's not edited. I ain't, you know, doing no trickery. I ain't, you know, doing no Photoshop or nothing. I want y'all to know that this is real. Like I said, before I get into human trafficking, let me give you a brief history lesson on how political action committees and how lobbyists work. A lobbyist is a person who goes to Congress and goes to the Senate, and they lobby to the senators and they lobby to the congressmen to pass certain laws. Well, one of the laws that they did a lot of lobbying on about 10 years ago is the human trafficking law. After they did the lobbying, CNN and 2020 and a lot of the different programs, what they did was they made it seem as though human trafficking was all about people from the Philippines, from Japan, from Africa, bringing little girls over here and forcing them into prostitution. That would make anyone pass the law. But there were provisions in the law. And in the law, it says that, you know, there are domestic human traffickers too. Those domestic traffickers happen to be young men in America who glorified pimping, who wanted to be pimps because they hear the rappers talk about pimping. They see pimping everywhere. You know, pimp my ride, pimp your Facebook, you know, pimp, 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 pimp. The world was pimp crazy about 10 years ago. And of course, you know, you had guys like myself who obviously is a street dude. I'm a fly dude. I got the minks on, the diamonds, you know what I'm saying? All the rappers kicking it with me. So therefore, it made it seem though pimping was cool. And I too thought pimping was cool. But unbeknownst to myself, yeah, it was cool. It was cool for the prison industrial complex, the people who lock people up. Like I said yesterday, you don't build hotels unless you expect occupants. And they're not gonna, you know, you're not gonna build a Holiday Inn and say, oh, I don't expect nobody to come in, you know, get the rooms. Well, they don't build prison, don't expect to fill the cells up. You know, and I was, you know, I remember hearing Brother Polite talk about cell, battery, you know, cell, phone. He was talking about if you go to jail, you get locked up for battery, and then they charge you. You know, all this prison and this charge and this sales and all this stuff has something to do with the psychology of how certain people think. Now, to get back to my point, so lobbyists, they go to Congress and they get them to pass these laws. And the law that they passed was human trafficking. Now, I say human trafficking versus pimping. Now, pimping, a few years ago, before human trafficking, if you got caught for pimping, they would hit you with the Mann Act. They would hit you for underage minor. They hit you for pandering. These were the charges. We know that when we read the Bible, even in the Old Testament, we hear about whorelots. Whorelots was whores. So my point is that they were whoring back then. Why did they come up with human trafficking back in the day? Because they didn't make money off of human trafficking. Now they make money when they incarcerate a young man for human trafficking. Now, all I'm saying is that there's nothing wrong with, the police doing their job. You know what I'm saying? If you catch me, you catch me. Cool. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to let all you young men who don't know the law, because ignorance is no excuse to the law, how not to get caught up in human trafficking, how to turn around, change your life, and do something constructive. Because if you don't, they're going to lock your motherfucking ass up, dog, and you're going to get a bunch of motherfucking time. And you know what I'm saying? Trust me, you don't want to go in that prison. You don't want no man telling you to go to bed at fucking 9 o'clock. You don't want to have to go to chow. You don't go to dinner, you go to chow. You understand what I'm saying? You don't want to have to take a shower with 10 men looking at your penis, looking at your ass. You don't want to do that. So I'm telling you, I'm warning you now. This ain't got nothing to do with me speaking out against human trafficking. Hey, if that's what they want to call it, human trafficking, that's what they're going to call it. But I want you to know that ignorance is no excuse to the law, and I'm trying to wake you up to what's really going on. So all you guys out there that feel, oh man, Ken trying to, run from the pimping. Now, no. If you pimping, I know you know what you're doing. Keep pimping. That's your prerogative. I have no problem with you pimping, my dude. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem with you, getting your money. But I do have a problem with young men who don't understand what pimping is, don't have a pimp bone in their body. If you throw them off the Empire State Building, they'll splash like Jello. They don't know nothing about the game, so therefore they out here and they like Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles, the blind leading the blind. The broad don't know nothing about human trafficking, and they don't know nothing about human trafficking. You understand what I'm saying? So let me break it down to you once again. If you are a young man and you meet a young lady in the club, and she's looking fine, she's, twerking and making it pop and all that, and she's a prostitute, but you don't know she's a prostitute. But she's prostituting on her own. She don't have a pimp. She just want to make some money. She want to feed her kids. And you go to the hotel with her, and she decides to psychologically use you as a pawn. What do I mean? She used you for security. So she's getting high with you, she's having sex with you, and she's trying to rationalize with herself that, look, I'm normal. I have a relationship. And you down with her, and she giving you money, she buying you Jordans, she buying you tennis shoes, she buying you True Religion, she buying you a few pair of Robin jeans here and there, a pair of Gucci here and there. But it's really not pimping. Y'all just got an agreement. And then all of a sudden, she get caught up in this thing. And you down there in the hotel room on the computer, and the police come. Guess what? That's human trafficking. You're going to be facing life, partner. You need to stop that. If you are a pimp and you've been in the game, this is for the veteran guys. If you're a veteran or you've been in the game 10 or 15 years or 10 years or 2 years and you get chose up by a prostitute that's been in the game 10 years, you didn't turn her out. You didn't put her in the game. It ain't my fault. Officer, she was already home when I met her. She was already down. Guess what? In the human trafficking law, they call her a victim, meaning that she was victimized and that somebody turned her out, abused her, and put her out here and caused her to sell her body. Therefore, she don't know nothing else. And this is what she doing, and you furthering and you continuing her victimization. So you get charged with what? Human trafficking. Be careful who you let in your household. Be careful who you let choose up on you. Because if she's a broad and she's just trying to, because let me tell you what they do too. When the broad get caught up, they tell the broad, they say, listen, if you give us your pimp, we're going to charge him with human trafficking, and we're going to erase your whole entire record because we know you're a victim, but you have to cooperate with us. Any prostitute that's been in the game for some years, if she's not a stand-up prostitute, if she don't care nothing about you, guess what she's going to do? She's going to sign those papers, and she's going to take you down, and you're going to be like, man, you know what I'm saying? I didn't turn this broad out, man. This broad chose me up. She got at me on Instagram. She got at me on Facebook. Yada, yada, yada. Woo, 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 woo. And now I'm doing 30 years. That's human trafficking. For those of you who are not a pimp, and you always wanted a whore, and you see this fine chick that's been in the game for 10 years, that's getting a whole bunch of money, and you're like, wow. You know what I'm saying? I can buy a whole bunch of Robin jeans with her. Guess what? Even though you never pimped in your life, they're going to charge you with the same thing. You know what I mean? Taking advantage of a victim. If you meet a young, pretty girl, she's walking down the street, got the coldest body. Oh, man, so beautiful skin. I mean, boobs all the way out there. You know what I'm saying? The cat, you know what I'm saying, sticking out the front of her motherfucking jeans. She's just looking so fucking gorgeous. You know what I mean? Just a sexy young motherfucker. Ooh, she's so fucking sexy. Guess what? If she's 17 and under, even though she's like a woman, and you decide that you want to take her on a call, or you want to, you know what I'm saying, turn her out, or you want to put her in on the net, guess what? Even though she looked like a grown woman, that's human trafficking. That carries lives too. Now here's what's going to shock a lot of you guys about human trafficking. If you have a female and she work in a strip club, if you don't know what you're doing, listen to this now. All you guys that got these girls in the strip club, listen to this. If you have a girl in the strip club and she's dancing and you're giving her all her money, even though she's not prostituting, if she decides to go to the authorities on you and say that you took all her money, guess what? Believe it or not, that's human trafficking, because you're slaving her. Now, if she works in the strip club and she have her own bank account and she keep her own money and y'all are, you know, making money together and y'all partners, that's legal, because there's nothing illegal about working in the strip club. But what makes it illegal is when you take all her money and you leave her with nothing, and she get disgruntled, or she get upset, and she decides to go to the authorities on you. Guess what? If you got a female in a strip club, I'm just giving you some game. I'm not telling you to stop, you know, that's on you, that's your prerogative. If you got I'm just telling you what human trafficking is. If you got a female in the strip club, okay, and she's doing a little extra in the champagne room, guess what? If she deal with an undercover and they catch her up and they can link her to you, and, you know, the club, you know, snitches on you, that's human trafficking. So human trafficking was designed initially to go after people of foreign nature who would bring in young women over here. But if you look at the laws and you go study the laws of human trafficking, over the last 4 or 5 years, the laws have changed based on individuals getting caught. Like if I get caught and the female run her mouth and she say, well, he had me in a strip club, so they go in and make another law. If she say, well, I've been down 10 years, you know what I'm saying? I just met him and he, that's a case that you could probably beat. They say, okay, well, we got to make another law. We got to make her a victim. So this is human trafficking. This is why I'm so into putting pimps up and hoes down and American Pimp down, because a lot of young people believe in this stuff. I'm out there every day. They be like, Ken, man, I want to be like you, man. Man, I want to be a pimp, man. This and that and the other, man. I read a book. I saw your movie and so on and so forth. And I'm trying to tell you, man, it's got to be in you and not on you, little homie. You know what I'm saying? You can't run up, you know what I'm saying, and say, and put on a t-shirt and say, I'm a pimp, and expect you, for people, the world to look at you as a pimp. Pimping is a psychological game. You know what I'm saying? Half you guys ain't even a pimp on the pimp's ass. These women will run circles around some of you guys. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they do. And another thing that people don't understand about human trafficking, right? This is going to mess you up. Is that 90% of the women that's hoeing today is hoeing without a pimp. 90% of the women do not have pimps. They are freelancing on the internet. But guess what? For the 10% that do have pimps, because there's so many that don't have pimps, and the government and the law enforcement think that they do have pimps, it messes it up for you guys that had what we call a secret society. So human trafficking is real. And like I said, the reason why human trafficking is so strong right now, you know what I'm saying? And everyone is trying to, go after it. It's the public enemy number one, because a lot of young men are needed in the criminal justice system. You know what I'm saying? I think I read a statistic that America is 5% of the world's population, but have 25% of the world's incarceration. 1 in 4 African-American males are in prison, on probation, or under some type of supervision. The prison system, and the prison industrial complex is on the New York Stock Exchange. The New York Stock Exchange, if you go look at the stock of the prison, their profit is almost 1,000%. Because you got to remember, the taxpayers pay for the inmates to be in jail. So Dick Cheney, who was the vice president of the United States, Google this right now so you won't think I'm lying. Everybody, we live on Facebook. Google Dick Cheney and see how much prison stock that he have. He have over 87 million. Now, on Wall Street, they call that inside trading. How can you legislate the law and benefit from the law? That's what's happening. A lot of these so-called politicians, they have investment in these prisons through a cousin, a family, a wife, or whatever, and they legislate the laws and they give harsh sentences. They lock people up for what we would call 10 years ago petty crimes and give them life. Because if I have a prison, I don't want to lock you up for 1 day. I want to lock you up for 1,000,000 days. I want to give you 30 years, not 1 year, because 1 year, that's a revolving cycle. But if I lock you up for 30 years, then that means I'm going to have you working for $1 a day. I'm going to have you working in the kitchen. I'm going to have you building license plates and furniture and so on and so forth. So that's the reason why I wrote in my book that you are a pawn. That's why in this book I say we are pawns, because they're using your appetite, the thing that you like the most, in order to trap you up. You know what I'm saying? The prison system is nothing but a big chess game. And they're trying to lock up as many people as they can. But if you aren't human trafficking, if you're not out there trafficking females, if you're not in a hotel with a female, if you're not trying to get chose up, you know what I'm saying? Or if you shop and you know what you're doing and you keep your business off the internet, you keep your business, you know, off of Facebook, you quit telling people on Facebook and Instagram that you're a pimp, you may be able to do whatever you've been doing. I'm not condoning, I'm not telling you to do it, but for those of you who don't know what you're doing, I'm telling you, man, human trafficking ain't nothing to play with. And for all you veterans out there, brother, I love y'all. I know y'all find this hard. I know we didn't compete with each other over the years, but I really love y'all, and I'm telling y'all, my man, that you're saying this human trafficking ain't nothing nice. It carries life. It carries life. You know, it's a lot of people in jail. You know, over 1,000 people probably the last 2 years that went to jail for this. And half of them don't even know why the hell they're in there. If you look at go to mugshots.com and look at the people that's incarcerated for human trafficking, they look so dumb. Even the older guys, they look like, what happened? Life, I didn't do nothing. I just met her. But in the drug game, you don't get life unless you got a conspiracy. You know, you can sell dope for 3-4 years, whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know, they got to do surveillance, they got to tap your phone. With pimping, all you can do is get caught one time. And they're going to charge you, even though you pimping, they're going to charge you with human trafficking. We know that human trafficking and pimping is not the same thing. Because if it was, all the people that was involved in pimping in the Bible would have went to jail. You know what I'm saying? All the whores, you know what I'm saying, and all the stuff that was going on, the whorehouses and stuff we read about in these olden days and these cowboy movies, all those people would have went to jail for human trafficking too, because it's the same thing. But the only reason why it's popular today is because the private organizations own the prisons, and they need to lock people up. In the last 20 years, over 2 million people has been incarcerated. 2 million people have been incarcerated. I remember when I was young, you get charged for a DWI. You know what I'm saying? They send you home and they give you some kind of class. Now you can get vehicle homicide. So today, I want to just speak on human trafficking. I'm done with speaking on human trafficking. If you want to read more about what I say about human trafficking, you know, read this book, The Art of Human Chess. You can get the book on iTunes. When you go to iTunes on your phone, type in Pimpin Ken in the search box, and you'll be able to get the book. It's on page 85. I talk about the whole thing. I can't talk about it like, you know, I will talk about it in the book. And if you want to get on Amazon.com, just type in Pimpin Ken. If you want to get it at Barnes & Nobles, go type in Pimpin Ken. You want to get it at Target, type in Pimpin Ken. If you want to get it at Walmart, type in Pimpin Ken. I'm everywhere. So you can get the book anywhere. Peace. I'm out. Thank y'all for listening. I'll be back tomorrow.